Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Banderas. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast. And also, thank you for all the emails, the support, your feedback, and all the new listeners, all the new supporters. I really appreciate it. I like to see how this community is growing. I like to see your stories. Thank you for that. But let's get into today's episode, shall we? Now, on today's episode, I actually want to ask you this. And I know that I ask a lot of questions on the episodes, but I like it. Now, do you know how the microbiome works inside of us? Now, a lot of people don't even know what the microbiome is, and if that's the case, that is fine because guess what? I didn't know what the microbiome was until recently, until I started researching about my wife's issues and my own issues in regards to my stomach. Because, like I have mentioned this before, where I have said like there are things that I can't eat anymore, and I was wondering why. And I have been listening to a bunch of doctors through other podcasts like Impact Theory or On Purpose or all of these other podcasts that they are there, which I recommend. Um, and I came up with the microbiome, which is kind of crazy. But let me tell you what the microbiome is, okay? So the microbiome is the genetic material of all the microbes, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and viruses that live on and inside the human body. The number of genes in all the microbes in one person's microbiome is 200 times the number of genes in the human genome. The microbiome may weigh as much as 5 pounds. So that's pretty much the microbiome. Now, what the microbiome is, or where the microbiome is located, like for what I've been able to see or find, is that we have a microbiome, multiple microbiomes literally on our body. That we have them in our brain, but the biggest one or the most populated one with bacteria, it's in our digestive tract. So it goes from our mouth, from where our mouth starts to the other end of our body. And it's filled with like over 1 trillion bacteria. And if you if you don't like bacteria, too bad, because guess what? We need this bacteria on our body because each and every single bacteria that we have on our body, it's designed to do something for our body. Like each bacteria process different things on our body while we eat. Like for example, sugar. Some bacteria can actually eat that sugar and then gives us the nutrients from that sugar. Like pretty much that's what it does. Like it gives us the nutrients on our body that we need. And that's how the food gets break down with the stomach acid, and then the bacteria starts like absorbing everything that it needs to. So they're feeding themselves, but they're also feeding us all of these nutrients that we need. And the problem that I've been able to find because of the research that I've been able to do is that when your microbiome is in a state of dysbiosis where the certain bacteria that you need, for example, has been killed due to the medicines that we take, the food that we eat that has all these extra hormones or all these crap that they put in it, like things that we're not supposed to eat, like all these chemicals, they might be killing our gut bacteria. And it's very important to know this because I didn't believe this until I started researching it, but our gut, that bacteria helps a lot with our immune system. I'm going to be talking about that in just a second, but it is very important to know this because a lot of things that happen when we don't take care of ourselves and we literally just eat crap, or we have issues with our gut, like leaky gut, or for some reason that bacteria gets out of our gut. It can cause inflammation because it's literally going to trigger our immune system to just start attacking, literally like should now ask questions later. That's pretty much what happens with our body. And that's why you might have inflammation, because your body's literally attacking yourself. it's attacking itself pretty much. It's literally saying like, oh my gosh, we have this invader, we need to find it. But it can literally say like, oh, where's the bacteria? The bacteria will spread. I have heard in some cases where the bacteria from your gut, that it's supposed to only be in your gut, goes all the way to your brain. It travels all the way to your brain, and then it can cause the, other issues like depression, things like that. And also, one of the things that I was able to find doing this research is that when that happens, it can cause the microbiome in your brain to not act properly, and that's why you might have like, uh, uh, you might feel foggy in your brain, you might have foggy memory, things like that. So this is why it's very important, and that's why I'm excited to talk about this with you guys. But now let me go ahead and give you the real information that I was able to find as to why it's important for health. Now, this is for when we're kids. Now, this bacteria, the bacteria that we have in our bodies, will help us digesting the breast milk that we take if you were breastfed or if you're breastfeeding. This is why you have to do it for the health of your baby, because this is what it says. Some of the bacteria that first begin to grow inside babies' intestines are called bifidobacteria. They digest the healthy sugars in breast milk that are important for growth. So if you're born and you don't have this bacteria in your body because of genetic issues, or something happens in the womb, and that's why you might not be able to eat or drink breast milk. I know somebody that actually had a kid, has a baby, and the baby is not able to take breast milk like he can. It will puke it, it will start crying, like it will puke it out, it will get like so sick. So when they took their baby to the doctor, they had to check to see what was going on, and they realized like, okay, there's something wrong with the microbiome, and obviously they're trying to figure out what exactly they can do, because it is hard to freaking do something about this. So that's why we have to take care of ourselves. Now, another thing that this does is that the bacteria will help you digest fiber. So that's what it does. That's what the bacteria do in our body. Like, they help us digest the food that we eat. That way we can actually get the proper nutrients in our body. Now, this is what it says in regards to digesting fiber. It says certain bacteria digest fiber, producing short chain fatty acids, which is something that we need. And it says, which are important for gut health. Fiber may help prevent weight gain, diabetes, heart disease, and the risk of cancer. So when we're eating and our bodies is not able to digest it, whatever we're eating, like all the shit that they put on food right now, like all that processed food, like, because I don't know if you have heard, but processed food is bad for you. When I started listening about that, I didn't know, but now after doing this research, I'm like, okay, I can see, because if we're eating crap, literally crap, even though it might seem healthy, it is not. If it's processed or refined, if it has all these refined things in the body, not in the body, in the recipe, it's not going to be good for you, because the gut bacteria is not used to it. You have to think like we haven't had this type of food for too long, so our bodies haven't adjusted. And also with the gut bacteria, it helps you control your immune system. Now, this is where I get excited to talk about, because it's like, wow. It says the gut microbiome also controls how your immune system works by communicating with immune cells. The gut microbiome can control how your body responds to infection. So if we have a healthy microbiome, pretty much what this says is that as long as we have a healthy microbiome, the bacteria in our bodies is going to help our immune system to fight infection. Especially with current events that have been happening, I think that's very, very important. So that's why I've been saying, like, we need to eat a little bit healthier. It's not just because it's good food, but it's because we have to take care of ourselves. And it also helps, and this is very important too, Now, it helps with controlling brain health. Now, new research suggests that the gut microbiome may also affect the central nervous system, which controls brain function. And like I mentioned, if you have a leaky gut, or for some reason the bacteria in your gut is able to get out of the gut and travels to your brain, it can affect you. It can make you have depression. It can make you have anxiety, because literally there's like an invader in your brain. That's pretty much what it is. So if medicine is not working for you when it comes to depression or anxiety, there might be something else causing it, and it could be something like this. Now, one of the things that they recommend, which not a lot of people do, I'm included, and that's why I've been trying to eat a little bit healthier, is eating a diverse range of foods. This can lead to a diverse microbiome, which is an indicator of good gut health. In particular, legumes, beans, fruit contain lots of fibers and promote the growth of healthy bifidobacteria. So when the doctor, like for example, when I went to the doctor because of my heart, and the doctor is like, you need to eat healthy, you need to eat pretty much fruit and vegetables and all of that, and I was like, I really don't want to, but now after read this, I'm gonna do it, and I've been doing it for a little bit, and I actually feel a lot better. Like I'm not as my gut actually is doing a lot better now. I mean, this is very important to know, because we don't pay attention to our gut as much as we should do. After looking into all of this, what's happening with our guts and everything, what's happening in our gut and everything, and why it does to our immune system, I'm like, do we even eat the right food? Like, I mean, I never ate the right food. It was all processed, all junk food, all of this. And now as I'm older, anytime that I eat something like that, like if I eat junk food or anything like that, my stomach starts acting up. So it makes sense. I need to eat healthier. Obviously, I need to rebuild my microbiome. Probably you're having a lot of these situations. And one of the things that I found, which is incredibly important to know, and you can find this research on Google or anything like that. You can Google the microbiome and chronic pain, is that when you have a gut issue, and your microbiome or the bacteria in your body literally escapes your gut, it's going to create inflammation, and that inflammation can cause chronic pain, because you're going to be inflamed, you're going to be swollen, that causes pain. And a lot of people will say, like, how can that bacteria escape my gut? Well, the barrier that stops that bacteria from your bloodstream or from getting out of the gut, it's 1 cell thick. So it's not very thick. That's why if we eat like junk food or very acidic food, that barrier is gonna start to deteriorate. It's gonna start to pretty much have little tiny holes. It's like, I eat a lot of junk food. Like, I'm not gonna lie, and I feel bad after doing all this research and everything. I feel bad about it, because I'm like, wow, what have I done to my body? But you can still do something about it, which is very important. And that's what I wanted to talk about next, which is how can we help our microbiome stay healthy? That's a very good question, because I wanted to know. Now, a lot of you might not like this, but remember, this is for your health. This is for your overall health, and obviously for you to get a little bit better, okay? Especially if you're a Spoonie and you're facing some kind of chronic pain or chronic disease. One of the things that they recommend is to eat fermented foods. And the reason why is because fermented foods such as yogurt, sauerkraut, and kefir all contain healthy bacteria, mainly lactobacilli, and can reduce the amount of disease-causing species in the gut. So that's very important. Look at that. It can reduce the amount of disease causing species in the gut. So what that means is that sometimes the good bacteria gets killed off, but the bad bacteria still lives in the gut, and that can cause the disease. So that's very important to know as well. Now, a lot of people might not like this, and I'm one of them because I like the what I'm going to mention right now. But sometimes we have to make sacrifices. And it says limit your intake of artificial sweeteners. I know a lot of people right now are going to be like, no, but hey, it's for your own good health. It's for your own good, you know? It says, some evidence has shown that artificial sweeteners like aspartame increases blood sugar by stimulating the growth of unhealthy bacteria like Enterobacteriaceae. I don't know if I pronounced it right, in the gut microbiome. So look at that. So if we're trying to reduce your sugar intake by taking an artificial sweetener, it actually is doing more damage to our body because it increases the blood sugar by stimulating the growth of unhealthy bacteria. So we're by eating or by switching regular sugar or refined sugar with an artificial sweetener, we're not doing anything good for our bodies, pretty much. That's what I wanna point out. Now, another thing that it helps is to eat prebiotic foods. Now, prebiotic foods are a type of fiber that stimulates the growth of healthy bacteria. Prebiotic rich foods include artichokes, bananas, asparagus, oats, and apples. So that will actually help you keep your gut in check and help you probably feel a little bit better. I've been eating bananas for quite a while since my doctor told me that I have to eat potassium. I love it. So it actually helps. I'm not gonna lie, it actually helps. Now this is for new moms or moms that are pregnant right now. One of the things that it says is that breastfeed for at least 6 months. Breastfeeding is very important for the development of the gut microbiome. Children who are breastfed for at least 6 months have more beneficial bifidobacteria than those who are bottle fed. So obviously, if you're able to breastfeed, do it. If you're not, obviously, you might want to talk to your doctor about what can you do for your kids so the gut microbiome is not affected and they can develop a good, healthy microbiome. That way, they don't have any issues growing up. So that's something that you might want to look into. Another thing that you can do for this is to eat whole grains. Whole grains contain lots of fiber and beneficial carbs like beta-glucan, which are digested by the gut bacteria to benefit weight, cancer risk, diabetes, and other disorders. So let me say this. By eating whole grains, it can actually help us with our weight. It can prevent cancer. It helps with diabetes and other disorders. So this is why I always say, like, we need to eat healthier. And I've been eating a little bit healthier. I mean, I totally understand it's hard, but it's worth it. Let me tell you that. This is one of the things that I can't do right now. If you can, good for you. You can tell me how you did it because it's hard for me. It says, try a plant-based diet. Vegetarian diets may help you reduce levels of disease-causing bacteria such as E. coli, as well as inflammation and cholesterol. So if you have inflammation in your body, by going vegan, obviously you have to check with your doctor to see if it's recommended for you or not. But by eating vegan, you can reduce the inflammation in your body. So if you have something like fibromyalgia, which causes a lot of inflammation, you might want to try it and see if it works. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, at least you tried, and then you can move on to the next thing. So these are the things that we need to think about. Now, another thing that we need to do in regards to food is to eat rich to eat foods rich in polyphenols. Polyphenols are plant compounds found in red wine. So you can drink red wine, green tea, dark chocolate, olive oil. Don't drink it. I don't want to get into that story, but at one point I will tell you. And whole grains. They are broken down by the microbiome to stimulate healthy bacterial growth. So, by eating this, it can actually help your gut, and you might feel better, because when we have good, healthy bacteria on our guts, it actually helps. Now, another thing that you can do, you can take a probiotic supplement. Probiotics are live bacteria that can help restore the gut to a healthy state after dysbiosis. They do this by reseeding it with healthy microbes. So if you ever get a test, there's a few tests that can actually tell you what's going on in your microbiome. I don't know if they're reliable, but I haven't tried them. I might want to try one in a specific. And if you take probiotics and you do one of these tests, and the test tells you, hey, you're missing certain kinds of bacteria, by taking the probiotics, it actually might help you and reseeding those, or probably putting those bacteria back into your body, so it can help your immune system fight whatever you're going through right now. Another thing, and this is very important, that's why I left this for last, because it says take back antibiotics only when necessary. This is what a lot of people don't know. I didn't know until I actually heard about it, and then I researched it, and when I found that it was true, I was like, holy crap, we are doing damage to our bodies. It says antibiotics kill many bad and good bacteria in the gut microbiome, possibly contributing to weight gain and antibiotic resistance. Thus, only take antibiotics when medically necessary. So pretty much what it's saying is that when you take antibiotics, you're not just going for whatever you need to fight, like whatever bacteria you're trying to fight. It's gonna go after everything. Whatever bacteria you have in your body, good or bad, it will kill it pretty much. And that's why we have to be very mindful about taking antibiotics, because it can cause what it's called dysbiosis, where literally your gut microbiome stops working, and then you can have gastroparesis, and with dysbiosis or gastroparesis, literally your stomach stops working. So I've seen some cases, and a lot of people on TikTok, they post about their dysbiosis or gastroparesis, and let me tell you, it doesn't seem pretty, because they have to be fed through a tube. They can't literally eat anything. If they do, what happens is that their body starts to get so sick because it cannot process it. So you have to be very careful about this. So I'm just giving you all this information because I think it's very important, especially for Spoonies. If you're facing any type of autoimmune disease, this could be the reason why this could be happening, and you might not know why, but it could be related to your microbiome. I mean, that's something that it's good to check. It's something that it will be good to look into, because in the end, it might actually help you. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys are enjoying the episodes. Thank you for all your feedback. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all the emails. And don't forget to share, like, subscribe. If you guys want to help me make this community grow, I will really appreciate it. I appreciate it if you guys share the podcast, share all the posts, so people can know that we're out there and we're trying to bring we're trying to help Spoonies not feel alone, and we're trying to end stigma towards any type of disease, So thank you for that. And if you want to share your story, don't forget to send it to me at thecaregiverandspooney@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And as always take care of yourself.